Yo, welcome to Metal_Magic YouTube channel. We're gonna be doing the players' cup date for week number 3. This is the last week. We'll do one at the end to kind of talk about what we can learn from it and all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna give the usual an update what the meta's been looking like, what the points are at, and things like that. I'll give an update on myself. We'll kind of figure it out. So firstly, let's take a look at the current points for top 256. This is as of 2/20 or February 20th. So there are 6 days left. Yeah, because the 26th is the last day. 26th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So actually, 6 days and 40 minutes as of the time of recording. So there's not a whole lot of time, but here's where we're currently at. From what I've seen, NA has been going up by about 1.5 points per day on average. So if we were to look at the 6, realistically, that would put us actually up to 95 potentially. Now, of course, there are variables that we have to consider, such as people haven't actually been using their key. That's a big deal. So there are some very, very good players. I was listening to the Faded Town podcast, and both Xander Pro and Isaiah Bradner had said they have not used their keys yet. They were two of the best players in the game, or they haven't used most of their keys yet. They're at used for 5 and 10 respectively. And so people like that do exist, and they're gonna drastically bump it up. And you have people who haven't used all their keys yet. People are holding on to the last couple keys, stuff like that. So it looks like 95 to 100 is going to be the number for NA. Europe jumped a whole lot. Europe's also been about that 1.5 points per train, and Europe might actually hit 80 or into the low 80s, which is very surprising considering they were pretty far behind that last time. So Europe's jumped up a lot. LATAM looks like it's going to finish in the 70s, about the same as before. And Oceania, it did go up almost a point per day. It might actually hit 20. So you better, I don't know, play in 2 more tournaments if you live in Australia or New Zealand or anywhere like that. That's kind of the prediction. NA, let's say 95. Europe, probably about 81, 82 probably. LATAM, probably 70. And Oceania, let's say 19. Something like that. And, it's not particularly high. LATAM, Oceania, kind of keep playing. You should be fine. Europe, you definitely have to show up pretty well. And NA, it's a bloodbath. So good luck to everyone on qualifying. I might be wrong. I am excited for next week's video to see if I'm correct, because I've been preaching the kind of mid 90s, and it looks like it might have undershot that for NA. Europe, I definitely didn't think it was going to hit the 80s. I thought it was going to hit the high 70s. So I'm curious about that one. LATAM, I thought LATAM was going to be exactly 1-to-1 with Europe. And so far, it's not even close, which is super interesting. I'm assuming obviously the player base is quite different. I'm wondering if there is actually a vast difference in the player base. I wonder if there's a difference in advertising. Obviously, a lot of the European countries have English as a second or first language. LATAM, I don't know how the Portuguese and the Spanish advertisements for the Players' Cup have been going. Obviously, I only know the English advertisements, but I'm wondering if that makes a difference, because in theory, the player base shouldn't be that different. Oceania, they just exist. They're here. Good for them. Most popular decks, it hasn't changed a whole lot. So this is through my own experience. I've used a handful of keys. This is through talking to teammates, all the same stuff as usual. Eternus is far and away the #1 deck people are playing. Mostly the non-poison build. People have moved away from poison, which I'm a big fan of. The straightforward build, it is, I think, my most viewed YouTube video. Actually, my list, they're not very far off the general list that people are playing. I'm still a big fan of the one that I've got. I haven't been playing Eternatus because it's too straightforward, man. It's boring. It's not that it's bad. It's just you just kind of attach and go boom, which I'm not a huge fan of. And I'd like to have fun. Picarom's been up there too. I've played a heck of a lot of Picarom mirrors, which is slowly becoming one of my favorite matchups, actually. I've been playing a lot of no hammer peak, and I've beaten a lot of hammer peaks. If you follow my Twitter, or you've seen the Twitch clip of someone pulling off multiple hammers on me in a turn, I did win that game. That is important. That is the top 3 ranked player in LATAM. We did beat them, even though they hit multiple hammers on us. We don't play hammer. You don't need hammer. But it's a very fun matchup. But yeah, Peak is very popular. The 1 and 2, so last week, the 1 through 4 was all about the same numbers. Now, Picarom and Eternatus are far and away the top 2 played decks. So I would definitely not bring a deck that loses to them. So I wouldn't bring your Dragapults. I don't know why you'd bring Dragapult. Actually, that's not true. I did play 1 Dragapult. We beat them. Scorch is also showing up, unfortunately, and this is something that is really disappointing me because I was like, the amount of Eternus and Pikarom I was hitting, I was like, okay, Luke Metal's the play. No. Luke Metal's not a bad play. It depends where you're at. Because, like, you bop Eternatus, you generally have a very good Pikarom matchup, but the Scorch matchup's so gross. So, Scorch has been showing up quite a bit. ADP is still there. I've talked to quite a few people who don't hit ADP ever. I'm still consistently hitting ADP. But we're at a point, honestly, in the next couple days where if you want to bring your Mad Party or something else that loses to ADP, now is the time. Don't wait the last couple days. There's going to be more ADP. You're going to get a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I forgot to use my keys. Let's throw ADP at the wall. So don't wait those last couple days. But if you're listening to this, you're a Mad Party player or an Excadrill player, whatever deck that loses to ADP, bring it now because that's going to change. I'm very confident in that. Luke Metal showing up a decent amount, and Blound/Tempozard is also showing up. You'll run into the occasional random stuff. Like I said, I played against a Dragapult. I played against a Colossal. I played against an Eggrow. That kind of stuff does exist, but for the most part, Eternus, Pikarom, I'd almost guarantee you're going to hit at least one of them in your pods. I'm consistently hitting 2 of them in my pods. And then the odds of hitting Scorch, ADP, or Luke Metal, or Blound/Tempozar is pretty darn high. That's kind of what I've been seeing. So best plays, I've been playing Pikarom. I love Pikarom. I have played a little bit of Luke Metal too, but Pikarom's been doing pretty well for me. I'll talk about my update, but it can beat everything, and that's a big deal. Like, the Eternus matchup is bad. A good Eternus player should beat Pikarom most of the time, but Pikarom is the definite pick for me. I have my list, the No Hammer list. I'm, again, a big fan of it, and yes, it can beat Eternus. I'm about 50-50 with Eternus right now, which it's not great, but, I mean, it's fine. And it beats everything else. Like, it just bops everything else in the face. Luke Metal, like I said, if you have the keys left that you can willingly take the loss to fire, I think Luke Metal is a very, very, very strong play right now. Unfortunately, I threw away too many keys to make Luke Metal a good play for me, but we'll see. I might change my mind. But yeah, those are my top 2 plays of what I would consider. Tempozard's also up there if you feel like you can beat Eternatus with it. I struggle with the Eternus matchup quite a bit. Marnie plus Power Plant. They're all playing Power Plant right now, it seems like. Marnie plus Power Plant is very difficult to deal with. So these are my top 2 picks. But of course, like I said, Eternus is a good deck. I just don't want to play Eternus because it's a little straightforward. ADP is still a good play. All these decks that are still very good. So I would go with any of them. I've used about 30 keys. I've about 40 to 50 rep. I was saying this on stream yesterday because I was just like, I was consistently winning round 1, losing round 2. I hate the best of 1. It's not going well for me. This is the worst that I've ever played in a thing. Like, I was talking about it in 5 of the 7 regionals I played in, I've started 3-0 or 2-0-1. And yet I can't go 3-0 in a Players' Cup pod. It's it's kind of ridiculous right now. But anyway, that's kind of where I am at. And yeah, it's not going well. We'll see about using the rest of the 20 keys. I'll use some of them. I'm not going to push super hard, but it's entirely possible for me to still make it. I've been playing Peak. Peak has been doing very well. I don't think I've gotten a 0 with Peak in a while. Gotten quite a few 5s with Peak win. But the Eternus matchup's tough, You stamp them to 1, they draw out of it, you just lose the game. It's kind of that simple. But that's where I've been at. So if you're someone who's like, oh, I'm not qualifying, cool, me neither. I am a player who, both seasons I've played, I've earned my Worlds invite. Even though we didn't have Worlds last year, I already had the invite ready to go. I've day 2'd regionals. I have beaten, in best of 3s, some of the best players in the world, including at Worlds or at regionals or whatever. And it ain't looking good for me. So don't feel bad if it's also not looking good for you, because we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. And part of that's the best of 1, part of that's the format. You do have to ask yourself, am I playing optimally? I did a video the other week or this week. I forget when it came out. I think it was last week, where I went over 2 of my games with Pikarom, and I did not play optimally in those games. Those games, it was my fault that I lost. Some games you do play optimally or near optimally. No one plays perfect. You play near optimally and it still doesn't go well. It happens. It's fine. Don't stress about that. But anyway, that's where my update is at. So I have 20 keys left. I'll probably use most of them within the next week or so. I need to not play it sometimes. I'll also be doing a Nuzlocke on there, but follow the Twitch channel. And then next week, I will have a final update with the final points, stuff like that. And even if / when I don't make the next round, I'm still going to metagame for it because that's fun. One of the reasons why I like regionals and I do well in regionals is I enjoy metagaming, I enjoy best of 3, and I enjoy figuring out what's good. And historically, I'm quite good at that. Like I said, I've earned points at almost every regional I've gone to. I did very well in Players Cup 2, and I did okay in Players Cup 1. It wasn't that great, but well, we got ADP'd in Players Cup 1. But we did fine. We won a few rounds, which is what matters. So yeah, I will still be metagaming for that, and I still believe that I can kind of figure some stuff out for you. Or, well, not just for you, for some of my teammates too. So anyway, I will catch you all in the next video. Make sure you let me know how you're doing too. I am actually invested in how everyone is doing. And I will, yeah, catch you next week. Peace out.